Big Bad Harv 95.
Yeah, how's it going?
199.
I love his name. I don't know what it is. I get giddy with Batman animated series references. Like, I don't know why, but anybody that does that makes me happy. Anyway, I'm sorry. Good.
Warms the soul. 10 best and worst things about Smallville.
Okay, we gotta stop it with this 10 of things.
No more listing
on the live shows. Well, I mean, I don't mind doing it occasionally, but when it's 10, this is another one of those things where I want to make it its own video, like, because I did this with and maybe that's why he's asking that, because I did this a couple months ago. Do you remember when we did a show where I said I would pick a topic and make it the whole show, and I believe that topic was the 10 worst things about the Arrowverse, or something.
Yeah. I remember that.
That was a well-viewed and well-attended live stream. I could do the same thing with Smallville. 10 favorite and 10 least favorite things. There's suddenly a lot more interest rekindled with Smallville right now because of the Talkville podcast. We've talked about this recently, and I'm very seriously considering bringing back, even though I wasn't going to, I'm very seriously considering bringing back once again forevermore the episode-to-episode commentaries with Counting Crypto Freaks, because I don't know if I'll keep the counting thing going, but at least keep doing the commentaries once Rosenbaum and Welling catch up to where I was.
And they're counting things too. I couldn't believe that.
They are. Yeah. It's just it's a natural thing to do with Smallville. You cannot help yourself. You have to count things. And I don't know how long he'll keep going with that. I think Rosenbaum is going to realize that it is too much to get, like, the pattern is too often, and he's going to go, you know what? This is boring. I'm not.
Especially him, because he doesn't like the repetitive nature of that first season.
Yes. That's exactly right.
He's already upset with, like, the Freak of the Week after, like, episode 3.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, his big refrain is, I mean, I didn't hate it. It's great. No, it's been a lot of fun listening to that, and I'm not past episode 3 yet, because I'm just, like I said before, I'm just listening to it when I'm, like, doing dishes and stuff, so I'm hearing it in, like, 5-10 minute increments, driving around and stuff. But I have been listening to it, and I'm enjoying it, and I'm planning to call into that show. I don't know for what episode yet. But I do want to see if I can get my voice on there once or twice, and try to come up with just the right thing to ask them, considering that I've got this history reviewing that forever.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool that they're taking calls like that, and I think you could ask some better questions than some of the ones they've taken. Like, one of them was like
generic. Some of those
one of them was like one of them didn't understand how films were made. Like, he was like, when your character had to throw that rock and break the glass, he's like, how many times did it take you? I'm like, that was a cut-in shot. Like, he wasn't actually on set throwing a rock.
I couldn't believe Rosenbaum played that. Yeah, that was. I just heard that this afternoon. That was in Hothead. That was the 3rd episode. Yeah. And you could see Welling just like, did he just ask that? Like, really? All right. He was trying not to be facetious. You could tell, and he was.
No, he was like, super nice about it.
It's glass that they make to break easy. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, so I'm very seriously considering bringing that back. Even though I don't know where I'm going to fit it in the schedule, but if I ever am going to do it, that would be the time. But I've got probably a year
before they catch up.
Yeah, I want them to catch up. I mean, I did a poll recently, or somewhat recently, and asked people if they would rather see season overviews on Rewind, and overwhelmingly people said yes. But then there's more interest than there was, so I don't know. I think it might make sense, but yeah, I would consider doing the 10 best and worst things as a separate video, and I'm gonna write that down right now.
Okay, cool.
I'm not gonna do it right here. I won't do 10. Give me a second. I just want to write this down. 10 best, worst things about Smallville. One of the worst things is story convenience. Absolutely. One of the worst things is retconning. One of the worst things is, I'm gonna try not to do 10 right now. I guess this is really easy. One of, at least for worst things, one of the worst things is being really ambiguous about your science to the point where it's your super science, your pseudoscience with particularly Kryptonian technology, to the point where it's basically magic. That's obnoxious and gets really annoying. One of the best things is, of course, just the Lex Lionel relationship and the parallel and mirroring between the Kent relationship, the most twisted and most wholesome stuff in the show that makes it a family drama, but also pushes that to a bit of an edge, comes from that whole dynamic, and it's wonderful. Another worst thing is how small the town isn't, and how it doesn't feel like Kansas, and how it's too close to Metropolis. No, I can do this all day long. But
yeah. Roboters 100 said one of the worst things is characters getting knocked out. That's just a TV. That's just a TV thing. Like one hit in Lost apparently knocks you out for as long as they need you to be knocked out.
Smallville is worse because you get knocked out. The timing is convenient so that you don't see Clark use his powers.
Yeah.
That's why it's dumber in that show. Yeah. One of the best things is and I don't mean to be flippant when I say this, but is the intro and theme song. It had one of the best of all time. And particularly when they revamped it for season 5, that is a killer. The way that's edited and the font type and everything, it's really pretty. They have really good intros in that show.
And they lucked out that song is so catchy. Because you have no idea when you just pick a song for the first season if it's going to last 10 years. And it totally does.
Yeah, and they never did like another version of it or anything. Like it was always that song. Now that singer passed away like halfway into the show.
Ooh.
So they couldn't have re-recorded it if they wanted to, or maybe it was like 7 or 8 years in. But like Remy Zero, like that singer, and I don't know what he died of, but he died at some point during the show's run, if memory serves.
Talkville also has a weird. It's kind of weird, but it's catchy too. The intro song to Talkville. It has nothing to do with Smallville, but it's just a little.
I haven't really given that any thought.
Senior Stick says, DJ, counting is wonderful.
Counting is wonderful. But yeah, hey, what's the thing about Smallville that you actually like, DJ? You watched some of that show.
Ooh, I've watched all 10. I've watched every episode of that show.
Oh, have you really? You've seen every episode?
Every episode. That was the last show where I was like, I have to finish this just to say I finished this. And even though I wasn't enjoying it for most of the last 5 seasons.
It's rough.
What do I like about that show? It's tough. It's been a long time. I think I watched that like 2010, like right as it was ending. Is when I finally caught up, and I watched it all so quick. I like binged it kind of because I had time back then, and so it all kind of the seasons kind of run together to me. But just like an overall like broad thing I like about it.
Yeah, because it's hard for me not to just go to details.
Yeah, it's hard.
People say, "What do you like about that show?" It's hard for me not to say like Perry,
a specific thing,
one episode, but just like their Perry White is awesome, and stuff like that. Like I like things about,
it's not, or just like
Reeve,
Lex.
Like I like things about their mythology. A lot of it I don't like. Their use of the Kryptonian symbols and stuff is really cool.
I like the parent stuff. I think his parents are very well casted, very well acted, and they get some good stuff with both Clark and with Lex.
Okay, we could do this all day. I might make that a video. I wrote it down. Who asked me for that? Because I'll make sure and credit them, of course.
That was Big Bad Harp 95.
Oh, of course. Sorry I spent so long on that, guys.
People singing "Somebody Save Me" in the chat.
Ryan is another thing that's just one of the best characters on TV. He was in 2 episodes. Love that character.
They just did an episode. I think they just did the Amy Adams episode actually, but the one before that on Talkville, they talked about the old lady that could see the future.
Yeah.
And I completely forgot about that episode.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
That's one of my favorites in first season.
Yeah, they like that one.
It's really good.
Provocative, like really cool imagery and stuff with Lex.
Yeah, the President Lex stuff. And part of the reason that was so provocative was getting to any, like, at the time, recent or like really recent in current comic book stuff. where they're like, "Oh, you're like predicting President Lex? That's really cool that they even thought to do that." Because it's really easy in a show like that to be really generic and sidestep a lot of the history and mythology and not really play with any of it. And it was cool to, subtle is not the right word, but like relatively subtly doing some of that kind of stuff. And then by the end, they just had him straight up be the president, and they were, they kind of acted like they were always inching toward that. But it was neat getting that as a vision.
And the fact that they went all the way that villain just gives her a heart attack and she dies was pretty crazy.
Because she sees that, because he's so evil. And I also just liked the show drawing the line in the sand, saying, yes, he will go down that path. That's what he has to do. He's Lex Luthor. Like, we're not going to be crazy enough to go that far against the grain, but we're going to give him every possible opportunity for change.
Yeah, the show's not about whether he will or won't he. It's like it makes you hurt because you know that's where he's going. Because you don't want him to go down that way.
And there's all these places where he didn't have to. And it also, that episode could have ruined the entire show if he saw it. And he doesn't see it. She does. Yeah. And he has no idea what she saw. That's the thing at the end. He's like, he's curious about everything. He has to know everything. And like, I like Strange New Worlds more than all of the other new Trek shows, but and that's not that show's fault, it's Discovery's fault, but like, it's the Pike thing. You kind of ruin the Pike getting crippled and in the wheelchair by having him know what's going to happen. And it's really nice they didn't do that to Lex, because that is prequelitis nonsense, man. Like, I hate that.
Yeah, there's some surprisingly good stuff in that show. And ironically enough, I like the high school stuff the most. Like, if you're going to tell young Clark, if you're going to tell Smallville stories, stick with that.
Yep.
Like, focus in on that.
But it can't go longer than 4 years.
Yeah. Yeah, that's... Once he starts fighting every villain he's ever faced in the comics before he's even Superman, it's just like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Why are we doing this?
It's not that
What's
show
the point?
Anymore. And it's even sillier because they keep calling it Smallville, but they never go there.
Yeah.
Like, at the point where it's not even in Smallville anymore, where they've just abandoned all their sets. You're done. Quit making your show.
But no, I really am enjoying watching. I haven't been watching it back through for the podcast, but I've been enjoying listening to it, and I'm remembering surprisingly quite a bit. I guess because I watched through your reviews, so that was like the first refresher, and now I'm getting like another one.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a part of me that almost wants to start over, but I just don't know if I could commit to it. Yeah. And it would feel weird, like, saying a lot of the same stuff again. But, like, the early episodes of that show, of course, are scripted and, admittedly kind of better than the commentaries, but I just don't have time to do it like that anymore. And they got copyright striked all the time. Like, I got to the point where too many of those episodes just you couldn't even see. So then I had to do the stupid, podcast not even having the things there anymore, the images there anymore, and then I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna make these commentaries. So it is kind of weird if I come back to it that, like, it's two different formats right now, and, like, they're only on episode 7, and there's, like, a part of me that almost wants to, like, catch up to them with commentaries and then do commentaries all the way up, and then I'm like, I don't know if I can find time in my schedule to do all that, so I don't know. Yeah. But anyway, I'm very, very on the fence about the whole thing. And it feels self-indulgent because I feel like not enough people care. Like, the more recent episodes, when I was doing them, weren't doing huge numbers, but then they weren't great episodes. And I wasn't doing it very consistently. So it's like, if I put it out weekly again, like, and because of Talkville, like, I feel like I could kind of, get people back interested in it again, maybe. But then also the question is, like, does that even matter, or do I just need to, for myself, do it?
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at with it.
Yeah. It's tough. We have no wisdom for you.
You had to go off and buy me the Blu-rays, and then that got me kind of more interested in going through it again. And...
Sorry, guys. Well, you're welcome, guys, if you guys are ones that want to watch it.